Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. What y'all doing? Y'all drinking a bunch of bears? Eating some motherfucking corned beef and cabbage and shit? I said, what you all doing? We got some new overlays. Oh, yeah, we do. We got some new overlays to whip the fuck out. How you doing? 10-game slate. A lot of shit been happening. Bunch of updates made right now. We got a lot, a whole lot to break down. A whole lot to break down. What's going on? We got people. Hey, yo. What's the dealio? What's going on, Hollis? How you doing? Let's get it. Evan, he says, off tonight for the first time. I don't know how long. Let's get this money, y'all. Hey, Evan in the chat trying to get it. My guy in the chat trying to get it. I like that. What's we got going on, fellas? Sal, my man, let's go, bro. What's going on, Evan? How you doing, boss man? Yeah. We live right now. I'm going to shoot this link out to the Discord. Let me grab these NBA projections to reference on my other screen. There we go. We cool, we living, we rocking, and we rolling. All right, cool. So 10-game slate. Lots of news came out. Kemba, as he has been doing on a lot of these back-to-backs, sitting out today. Kyrie Irving sitting out today. So it is indeed James Harden night, which is why James Harden is the little picture that we got going on the screen. Mr. James Harden projecting out for damn near 70 fantasy points right now for me. Holy shit. James. Put myself in a box right here. Got to think outside that box. Hey. What's up? What's good? Sup, Sal's the DFS king. Mr. England thinks I'm a motherfucking king. Crown me. We already got the fucking bling. We already got the fucking glasses. How you doing? Right now we're broadcasting this out to Twitch. Periscope as well, so you Twitter people out there. Yeah, I see you. What's up? Sal looks like he sells chains to rappers. Hey, I look like that guy from, what's the Adam Sandler movie about the fucking sports betting game with Kevin Garnett? I look like that motherfucking guy. Hey, Sal, hope you're doing well, bro. Thanks for all the help as always. My man, Jose. What's going on, guys? All right, cool. So yeah, let's break down this slate. A lot of news ended up just dropping. Let's make this a little bit bigger for the fellas out there to actually see what's going on the screen right now. So we got a very, very interesting top 12 plays. Tomas Satoransky remains up there. James Harden does too, but he gets a little bit of a lift. James Harden, 69.2 projected points today. This motherfucker. How much more is he projecting out than anybody else? I got James Harden for 9 more points than anybody else in the slate today. So, as always, there it is. James Harden. The big old beard, the big old belly potentially for James Harden. Do what you're going to do at them strip clubs, James Harden. There we go. Number 1 overall play. Nothing more fitting than the 69 projection on Mr. James Harden today. Cool. Alrighty. Sal, tell me your thoughts. Harden, Brown, Buddy, Yield, he puts instead of Healed. Yield, Tice, Jokic, Satoransky, Nance, Zubac, Happy St. Patty's Day to you as well. Yeah, man, I think that lineup's pretty good. Brown, is that Bruce Brown, I'm assuming, not Jaylen Brown? Either way, it sounds pretty good to me. Raise your hand if you've been watching Sal's videos for so long you remember when he talked normal. My man says, raise your hand when you remember Sal talking normal. I don't know what that means. I guess those were my more conservative days, the days when I was comfortable enough to get on camera and talk, but not comfortable enough to fling out all the talkings. Yeah, I mean, basically how I am on these live streams is how I am in, I mean, obviously not all real life situations, right? But how I am in most real life situations is what I would say. Olynyk is balling. Yeah, he is. Bam on a second night of a back-to-back. I wouldn't be shocked to see Bam sit, but they said he wouldn't have a minutes limit. He played a decent amount of time, so that's probably going to wind down a little bit in my opinion. Oh, snap. Serious with the spectacles. We all cashing tonight, fellas. Yeah, we got the serious Sal. Serious Sal with the chain. We doing some things. Chant, we got this hoodie, Cuts Clothing. Dude, yo, the benefits of being a motherfucking content creator these days. You get a hoodie sent to you, a shirt, and a polo from Cuts Clothing. Damn. And them comfortable. Normally people send me shit, and it's like literally the worst material ever. I never wear it. I've thrown out a couple of shirts already, or actually I donated them to those like donated Dropbox things outside of grocery stores. These ones, I'm like, No. We're keeping this shit. Donate some other shit instead. Give you some socks. Alrighty, let's break down into this slate. Did anybody else see the $1 max winner on DK? Same guy, same lineup, 20 times, won over 9K. There you go. He ran a fucking train in there and it ended up hitting for him. I ain't trying, Sal. I am going to get it tonight. So are you. Tonight is a good night. I love that. I'm a fan of that lineup, Eric. Hey. We got fans in the chat of people's lineups. We like to see that. So let's zoom in on this shit. So yeah, let's start crack-a-lackling. This is the NBA optimizer from this morning. So let's build a new lineup with this optimizer. Let me rerun it. So let's start to look at some optimized lineups. Put any questions you want in there. We can talk about the minutes. The minutes projections are going to be featured right here. So we can talk about all this. We have a couple different overlays that we're working through right now. Who do you have for Super Draft tonight? Says definitely Danica. Definitely Danica. How you doing today? Hopefully you're having a good fucking day. A lot of guys look very similar in Super Draft. All the 1X guys are starting to look pretty decent on there, but a lot of guys right now look pretty similar over on Super Draft today. Not going to lie, because James Harden, Brooklyn, they're not on that slate, so he's not standing out. So like Nikola Jokic looks okay. DeJounte Murray looks great. He continues to look great. He's a 1.4x multiplier for whatever freaking reason. Kevin Porter Jr., even with Christian Wood back, still looks great over there, right? I'm going to keep going back to the well with Colin Sexton on Prize Picks at his 31.5 points or 31 points over under. On Super Draft, he grades out for me really well. So there's a lot of good-looking guards on Super Draft tonight. Zach LaVine, Sterling Brown, LaMelo Ball. The guard position is absolutely freaking loaded on Super Draft tonight. So those are some options for you. Jonas Valanciunas looks like a very good center option if you're not trying to go to Nikola Jokic. So we can talk about some of this optimizer stuff right here if you're trying to get just me in the green screen. Hey, we got a little green screen action. What's up? I like this. We can transition through some stuff right here. But let's look at this optimizer today. So we got it all updated right here. I'm going to start to answer some of the questions as we go. Don't worry. So let's create a build. How much randomness you guys want to put? 23% is what I'll put right now. Shout out LeBron and MJ. We'll put a max of 3 players from each team, and we will build 150 lineups. So let's let that bad boy motherfucking go. So this bad boy is going to crank out. The optimizer is going to run right there. If you want to check out the optimizer, it's on Patreon. We now have an optimizer on Patreon, so you can check all that stuff out if you're interested. I have dropped the link in the description. Projections, rankings, all that type of stuff for multiple sports. Thanks for the PGA show earlier. Ready for this one. There we go, T-Dog. Yeah. I like doing those PGA live shows. This week we just did it solo as a smaller event. Once the match play next week, maybe we'll get Dylan back on and some other stuff. Any love for Jordan Poole today? No, I have him for 16 current minutes, and it's just not something I'm going to get to. I mean, it's probably nice for Golden State to see him finally producing after it looked like he might just be a bust of a pick. Still not all the way back by any means, but that's where I'm at right now. We have R. Kathiza donates $5 to the chat. Thank you for the super chat. It says, Sal, Tomas, and Harden, all point guard eligible on DK. Are you using a utility spot or dropping one to get different single entry? I am playing James Harden tonight. I'm not getting away from James Harden. I prefer Porter over Tomas Satoransky. So there would be the answer to that. That's a very good question. Evan's in the chat. He even says solid question. So you got the back and you got the double pack, right? You got my tap of you. Hold on. Let's make sure we're on the big screen for this one. You got me patting you on the back. Good question. You got Evan in the chat patting you on the back. Good motherfucking question. That's a good question. Yeah, it's tough. They're all only point guard eligible. No longer is Tomas Satoransky like a small forward eligible player. No longer is James Harden a shooting guard eligible player, right? Even Kevin Porter Jr. last year was small forward eligible, right? And shooting guard eligible at times. I would personally prefer Kevin Porter and James Harden there. Reason being is their minutes are way more secure. Harden, 38 to 40 plus minutes today. Kevin Porter, I have for 36 minutes, and I am not in any... I mean, if you get one of those guys between Daniel House and Ben McLemore ruled out, 38 to 40 minutes is in play. Tomas Satoransky, you're hoping to get like 28 minutes, right? You can still see him. You're hoping to get 28 minutes, and his ceiling is nowhere near the ceiling of those other guys. Obviously, it's factored into the price, but yeah, I'll take Kevin Porter there, factoring in the points upside. Kevin Porter and Harden, but great question. Green screen for the State Patty's Day stream. Hey, yeah, we got the green screen for the State Patty's Day stream right now. I mean, ideally, I wish there was a way for me to somehow have this one with the green screen, right? It's like I could like pull the green screen up, and then we'll transition to this one right here, and bam, we get my actual background since I motherfucking paid to set up a background behind me. We'll stick with the brick. Sometimes we'll go outside of the box. What are you going to do about that? Where we at? There we go. We're going outside the motherfucking box. Cool. Hit that like button for my man Sal, says Jeffrey Wilson. I appreciate that. That's too kind. Fucks up with quickly. He sucks, somebody said. Oof. Bold take. One night. It was one night. What's your Zubac projection? So I'm currently projecting in, although he has a back injury and he missed the front end of the back-to-back. Serge Ibaka, we'll see what happens there, but I'm just projecting him in right now because I'd rather not project him out and then have to move everything else around to the original projections anyways. So I'm projecting Zubac right now for 20 minutes and a little over 20 fantasy points. Obviously, that goes up, and he's going to start to project out for like 30-plus fantasy points if and when we get the news that Serge Ibaka is not going to be playing today. And Serge Ibaka, do us all a favor and take a seat, huh? Okay? Hey, Serge Ibaka, go celebrate yourself some state motherfucking Patty's Day. We don't need you in these streets today. We don't need you in these streets today. Let's look at what some of these lineups ended up crunching out for us early on. All right, so we are crunching the wrong thing. I think I'm crunching a showdown slate right now because it's giving me very low totals. Yep, we're crunching the Milwaukee and Philadelphia showdown slate. I don't want that shit. So Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern slate. Now we can do it this way. There we go. Let's get our build in. New build. 23% randomness, 3 from a team. So we're going to build out some lineups. Let's go 3 uniques tonight. Get a little bit different there. And let's go with 150 lineups just for now. I mean, we can crunch like 300, but I don't want to wait for them. So let's go with that many lineups. Good question. Fellas, highly recommend signing up for his Patreon. So much value and has helped me cash big dollar Rooskies. Skyler, my man Skyler, was it you in the Discord this morning that I saw won $500 Rooskies? Ended up going to, what was it, Damian Lillard last night once the news came out that we had the questionable tag or the minutes limit on CJ McCollum. Skyler winning $500. Lovely Patreon himself. How do you rank the studs for tonight? Well, James Harden is a clear-cut number 1. He's on his own island tonight out of those studs. So for me, it's James Harden, Jokic, Giannis in that order right now. Well, basically, Jokic and Giannis are a coin flip. I have Jokic for 59.7 points. I have Giannis for 60.4, and they're separated by $200. So it really just comes down to fucking dying. Comes down to positional. I'm going to die on this stream if I don't drink this water. Your positional needs, right? It's clear and away James Harden won. The ownership's going to reflect that. I don't care tonight. He's projecting out for damn near 70 points for me. And then it comes down to Jokic and Giannis. I personally prefer getting to Giannis. I think the ceiling is a little bit more easier for him to get to. Jokic grades out a little bit better for me just because he's $200 less. But it's up to you. Do you want to pay up for center or not? It makes it easier to kind of decide your studs. After that, it would be Westbrook and then Beal in that order. See a lot of basic questions for a super chat. That is a good one. Yeah, that is a good one, right? Lots of the times, I mean, sometimes people just be reaching out and being like, hey, yo, Sal, we just trying to see how your day's going. Here's some $5. Go get yourself a beer on State Patty's Day. My man R. Cathizla ended up, I'm fucking that name up. Cathizla. Said, no, you got to work for that shit. You got to work for your green beans. Not your green beans, your cabbage and corned beef today, Sal. I like it. All right, let's look at some of these lineups now that we recrunched this shit. Let's go to the big screen. Big screen. We got a big old movie screen now. Look at this. You love to see it. Is it still fucking projecting out? All right, it's still projecting out this. Can we project out the actual slate? Come on. Must not have saved that shit. All right, here we go. 23%. 3. Project that shit out. What do we got? Hit that like button. Any Rashawn Holmes for love for you? Yeah, it actually increased the second that I actually saw the Marvin Bagley news, since I didn't even see that this morning. My bad. Missed one thing. Your boy misses one thing for once. So here's the top projected lineup as of right now, not putting any rules in. I love being able to play Holmes in the power forward spot now on DK. It's fantastic. Anytime you can play a center who's going to play 30-plus minutes, average over a fantasy point per minute, and is appropriately priced to underpriced, Holmes is appropriately priced today, getting them in the power forward spot is just killer. I need to put my other screen over here, so I'm actually looking at the lineups when I talk about them. Good luck, everyone. Get some dollar Rooskies, says Nate. I agree. Get some dollar Rooskies. On a bigger slate like tonight, do you also increase the amount of lineups you enter, or is it the same amount as a 6-gamer? I enter the same amount on a 6-gamer. I'll only decrease if it's like a 1 to 3, maybe a 4-game slate. So I'll still play 150s. I'll still play single entry with 1 main lineup. I'll still play 3 max with 3 to 4 lineups. Depending on the salary, that's my debate. I still end up playing all unless I get to Zubac or Morris from LAC value. There you go. Thoughts on Hield and Bruce Brown, trying to make some more dollar Rooskies. I Hield, all those guys basically for me. So let's go. All these guys from Sacramento are in play. I prefer Halliburton. Now that those minutes are back, he is massively, in my opinion, underpriced at $6,500 or $5,500. This was just a guy who was consistently like $6,400, at least $6,000 plus. So I prefer Halliburton from his own team over Buddy Hield for almost $1,000 less. So I'll take Bruce Brown out of those 2 options that you just gave me. Bruce Brown's projecting out really nicely for me right now. As you can probably tell with no Kyrie out there. Bruce Brown projecting out for me for 25.8 points at 4,800. It's a pretty solid, pretty solid call. So this is the top projected lineup right now in the big energy optimizer. Obviously, this is going to change. So for the people out there like, why are you giving away lineups? We ain't giving away no lineups. We just projecting out some shit early on. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. We just projecting out some shit early on. So, obviously, your boy Harden with no Kyrie and KD. Duh. Tyrese Halliburton, I just talked about him. I love him. Let's see what Halliburton's ownership is currently coming in at. Because if it's relatively low, we're about to pounce. It's fucking high. Never mind. But we still like Tyrese Halliburton, but I thought we might actually get some low ownership there. Sterling Brown, so we're looking at a chalk motherfucking lineup here. We need more randomness. Giannis, though, so you're getting two studs. Giannis probably not going to pick up ownership, so this is where you get your value. Nicholas Claxton, it's taking a shot on Claxton. Backup center, going to play like 18 minutes. That's not great. And Bielitsa, who, if there's no Whiteside, looks a little bit better. But we don't want no Claxton, so let's move over to this next lineup and kind of look at what we're kind of getting tonight. $500 from using the optimizers. Fellas, don't sleep on that optimizer. It's legit. My man, Skylar White, cashing $500 Rooskies last night. Way to go. Nice shit. Somebody says, the Restream bot puts in, congratulations, you've received 100 messages today with Restream chat. Tweet it out? Nah, I'm good, boy. Nah, I'm good, boss. It's like, appreciate the super chat, but really. Yeah. I feel you. Elbow cough. Graham, a decent play at $4,500 tonight. I assume you mean Graham as in Devontae. Let me just make sure Devontae's price is $4,500 before I start discussing him. So $4,500, no. I'm just giving him 22 minutes. I mean, his minutes are done, right? He ended up missing some time, and LaMelo Ball just took the man's job. Malik Beasley played well enough to keep himself decently in the rotation, and now Devontae Graham is just kind of hoping to get 20 minutes a night. Harden points look nice. Encore says, Sal, Encore, how you doing? Getting in shape sucks. Sold my car to gamble and pay off baby mamas. Walked over 3.5 miles today. My man Encore living a different type of life in the chat right now. But hey, look. No matter how much shit's hitting the fan right now, you're breathing. Ready? Everybody right now. Feel your heart? That shit pulsing. Hopefully not too fast. Hopefully we don't got to call any cops right now or any ambulance. You're breathing. So that's a good thing. And hey, you just walked 3.5 hours today. That shit's good. I went on a run this morning. I was doing a little walking. I think I'm going to do a walk after this. Walking is massively underrated, right? You can go and you can lift a bunch of weights in the gym, right? You can lift for fucking 30 hours straight, all the weight that you want to. You can get yourself some nice real muscles. Look, I like doing it. I like lifting. I got a pull-up bar here. I like doing push-ups. I like that shit, right? It's fun to me. But nothing gets it going like walking. Nothing, right? Keep yourself a body in motion, stays in motion, all that type of shit, right? Who came up with that? Sal Vetri, right here. Quote, right? The Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott from The Office. Quote, Wayne Gretzky, quote, Michael Scott. Quote, Sal Vetri on that one. But yeah, man, walking's a good thing. Walking's real good, my guy. Aim for your 10,000 steps, whatever your goal is. Some people might shit on that stuff. Then people ain't getting them 10,000 steps probably. That's the thing. Washington thoughts, huge point total, but I think there are other studs ahead of Beal or Westbrook. However, any other Wizard you like, or do you go to Westbrook over another stud? Yeah, so Evan, I'll pull up right here. Washington's always a team that just looks like shit outside of those two guys. But man, do those guys look good today. Also, Alex Len, if he starts again, you can just keep holding your nose and hoping that he fires for you. It'll probably happen like every other day. His minutes aren't high in my projection right now. I think I have Alex Len at 22 minutes, 24 minutes. Alex Len at 22 minutes, so he's in play. But man, both of these guys look good. Beal's price point's dropping, and now this matchup is just going to skyrocket him with that total. Same thing for Westbrook. So yeah, it's really tough to get to Westbrook, because if you indeed want to play Harden today, as 40+% of the field probably will, smaller field stuff, 60+% of the field will, even higher maybe. It's tough to get there, but they're both yeses for me. I'd probably get to Beal, though, because he's $1,100 cheaper. They kind of both look pretty similar to me from a point per dollar rating standpoint. So, yeah, I would lean to get to Beal there. Do I prioritize them today? No. That's the thing, though, right? Like, just give me the difference between Bradley Beal going at 9,300 and scoring 50 today, and Jokic or Giannis and Harden, those three, two of the three, or all three of them scoring 65 to 70 plus. It's just massive. It's just massive because you know value is going to get there today. There's just so much of it. Sal, it's been a minute. I like the new look, says Redman. Thanks, man. What's up, Redman? How you doing? Yeah, this new look literally is as brand new. So what I wanted to do with this new look was I knew that I wouldn't have the green screen when I'm traveling. I went to Austin to look at apartments. We're going to secure an apartment move in May. Me and my girlfriend. Round of applause for us. Yay, the crowd goes wild. But I couldn't bring a green screen, so I didn't want to be doing this style, right, without a green screen, because then it's just like a big box. It's just like me, and it looks really messy, and it's not professional, and it's not what it doesn't get the people going. It doesn't get the people going. I'm trying to get the people going right now, right? You know what I'm saying? So we had a graphics guy put this together, so even if I don't got this fake image brick wall behind me, at the very worst, we just got the garage behind me that I was shooting videos in this past weekend, and it doesn't look too shabby, huh? So this was the second lineup. I'll keep answering the questions, of course. How did the ownership meeting go today? It went well. It seems like we might have a partnership agreement, but it's kind of just testing the waters for a couple of weeks. Shamit with Irving out? Not for me. I mean, he doesn't look god-awful like usual, but not for me. Do you think Jabari Parker will finally get some minutes with Bagley out? I do not have him projected, I don't think. I think it's Bielitsa's minutes increase. KJ Martin, Sal? I still like KJ Martin even with Wood back. Do you know if there is any way to get ownership projections for Superdraft? I have not found any. I think it's a little bit premature. I think it's getting close to the point where they can start appearing, but a little bit premature since the site is so old. Why are we calling the cops for not being able to breathe? Somebody said. What you mean call the cops for not being able to breathe? Oh, you just getting in here. Oh, we were talking earlier about if you're on a walk, if you're running, if I really don't even remember what the fuck we were talking about, right? Here we go. We were talking about if you could feel your heart right now and you're just breathing. If you're just breathing, you're having a good day. No matter how bad your day is, no matter how much you're overthinking your monies, how much you're overthinking your relationships, as long as that heart is breathing, you're better than all the people 6 feet under right now. It's as simple as that. And if your heart's not breathing right now, that's when we're calling the cops. Lost 70 pounds walking with inclines. It's facts. Yo, there is, I know this is a DFS stream, but it is so insane if you just set your mind towards literally just walking with inclines, speed walking, literally that simple. Like, yes, that type of movement, obviously changing something in the diet, right? You can't continue to buy chips and keep them in your house and cake and all this shit. That stuff, just don't buy it. If you keep it there and say, I'm not going to eat it, well, look, I'm guilty of it too. If it's in my fridge, I'm going to fucking eat it. If a whole thing of cookies is in the cupboards, I'm going to fucking eat it. So I just don't buy it. And then sometimes I do and I eat the whole thing and I say, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Huh? What are you going to do? But yeah, if you just walk for like an hour a day, I mean, even an hour a day, that's probably adding, one, your metabolism is spiking, right? And two, you're probably losing a couple, 300 to 500 calories, depending on your height, weight, BMI, all that shit. Prize picks, Russ over 54, Beal over 49, Rui over 43, Buddy Hield over 33. What do you think? Let's look. Why don't we look good, sir? So let's look at some of the prize picks. So we got some prize picks. If you want to use the code SAL, it's on the screen right now. We'll continue to answer questions, but we got a question from Chase Piata about prize picks today. So let's start to look at some of these prize picks options for now. They got all the other totals out. So he's asking me, Russ over 54. I'm going to hold off on that one. Beal over 49. I'm barely over it, so I'll probably lean away from it. Rui over 23. I'm fucking having a fucking hiccup attack right here. Rui over 23 is nice. Buddy Hield over 33 is not something I want to touch. I have Buddy Hield at 32.9. So not going to touch those. T-Dog says, haha, I like the positive vibes. Yeah, man, we're always in the positive vibes on these streams, my man. Always in the positive vibe. Joe Harris looks like a great play for me tonight. There you go. If he plays power forward, maybe, but I don't think he's going to get the power forward start. So it's not the same as it used to be. I thought I seen that Westbrook was out. Unless he got ruled out in the past 5 minutes, he is not out, but you could be right if it happened in the last couple of minutes. Let's see. Somebody says, damn, Max, that's awesome. It is awesome. My man lost 70 pounds. So Zubac changes if we get news on Ibaka. Correct, Jonathan. So let's talk about some of these over-unders. Kyle Lowry, we can't really touch now that we got some other news. So a lot of these are going to be pretty secure. Siakam at 36 over-under. Unless Siakam's going to play full minutes, that's a pretty clear under for me right now in my projections. Like, unless we get something coming out here that he's not, like, that's a pretty clear under. I like the Jaylen Brown over. It's not extremely over, but I like it. I have him over 40 fantasy points today. So, again, you could use the code SAL. They'll give you a $100 match up to $100. You can take the over-under on some stats, but I also like the over-under on fantasy points the most. I feel like I have our best edge there. So, just looking at some of these right now, the one right I'm at around 32 fantasy points, 33 on, so I lean the over there. Colin Sexton's come up from 31 to 35, so I guess some people took him earlier, maybe some from our video. Butler, I'd lean the under on. What do I have Butler at today? Like 46 fantasy points. So a lot of these are pretty secure. Rui's a clear over for me. I have him at 26. Harden's, oh my God. All right. If you already have a Prize Picks account, even if you don't, go get James Harden. James Harden is the same fantasy points over under today when Kyrie Irving was ruled in this morning. I have James Harden for 69 fantasy points today. He has at 54. Go get James Harden right now. If you don't have an account, click the link in the description, use the code SAL, get your free money bonus, and make James Harden a clear over, and then combine him with whoever you want after that, right? out of some of these that we already talked about. That is like ridiculous that James Harden's 54. He was 54 this morning. Kyrie Irving's out. That obviously changes things. So that's some stuff. We can keep talking on this in a second. Joe Harris over 20. They haven't changed anything from Kyrie Irving being out still? No fucking way. Dude, no way. Joe Harris had for 25 points. So all these Brooklyn guys, they're not changing for Kyrie Irving being out. This is nuts. Let's take off Siakam. Let's take off Jaylen Brown. We'll leave on Rui. So we'll take the over on Rui. We'll take the over on Rui. We'll take the over on... Oh, Kyrie Irving is still on the page here? This can't be. Do I have to refresh this? This can't be. I must not have it refreshed, right? What the fuck's this shit? That's wild. Congrats on the new pad, somebody says. Thanks, man. Thanks, Max, and adjustment. Clark Kent to Super Sal. Hey, you like to see that. So I must have not had this updated earlier because now it's updating and I no longer see the Harden 54. Is Harden on here still, though? Harden's at 62 now. I'm still taking the over. I got him at fucking 69. I'm still taking the over. Joe Harris is at 23. I'm still taking the over. I've got him at 25. Oof. We still got some really good lines on here. Rui's still at 23. Yeah, there's a lot of good lines on here. We'll come back to that and we'll finalize that in a second. Would you prefer Wiseman or Draymond versus Houston today? Bigs usually have a good game versus the Rockets. Yeah, I would prefer Wiseman. I have Wiseman at 24 minutes. Factoring in the price, I like Wiseman. Wiseman's actually a pretty solid play today all around. Like, Wiseman is close. Before all this crazy news came out about Kyrie being out and stuff, he was close to $1 dozen, if you will, the updated version. I got Wiseman for around 25 DraftKings points today. You always look great next to Harden. You will always look great next to Harden. Me? Thanks, man. You calling Harden ugly? Oh, no, you're calling Harden ugly? You guys like the new skin, the second skin? Because I like transitioning in between all these things, right? Maybe I'll even get a really close-up on me on one of these, right? So how you doing? Hey, how you doing? We might get a close-up. I like that style. I like that fucking style. I call that my necklace. Ain't got no necks. Ain't got no legs. I come here for life advice first, then DFS pick second. Hey, any way that this dumb 24-year-old can help you with your life advice, I'm happy to. We're all just winging it. That's the life advice I can give you right now. We're all just winging it, but we get there sometimes, right? We're all just winging it. We get there sometimes. Try and avoid as much confrontation as you can. Friction is not confrontation. Friction is good. Challenges make you grow. Failure makes you grow. But confrontation in terms of people being like, hey, fuck you. And then you're like, hey, fuck you. And then you punch them in the nose and they punch you in the nose. And it's like, man, now I got this busted ass nose. True story. Not really. Real sorry to hear, Encore. Things going to get better for you soon. Yeah, man, Encore. Also, right now, I lost my dad just before Christmas. Hey, thoughts to Encore's dad. Thoughts to Encore in the chat right now, man. What's the two best value plays in the slate, says Jose. So, Jose, right now for me, and we'll pull this one up right here, sorry. The two top value plays for me are James Harden and Tomas Satoransky, if we're talking point per dollar value. If you're just talking cheap value, for me, it'll be Tomas Satoransky probably, and I think $4,700 Larry Nance will be my second favorite. Daniel Tice at $4,100 is close, though. Can you edit or remove prize picks before the game? Can't figure it out on the interface. No, once the bet is placed, you're locked in. It's just like locking a bet at a sports book. So once the bet is placed, you're locked in. I believe so, at least. Let me double check. Because I DM Prize Picks about this right when we became partners with them, just to make sure. So if somebody does not play, they will be marked as a DNP, did not play. Those entries with that player in them will revert down a tier. So for example, if you pick a 4-pick power play, it will go down to 3. So can you edit them? No. But if a guy gets ruled out before the game, if he gets hurt during the game or after Lockie gets ruled out, then that's fine. But if it's a DNP, if he does not play, and let's just say you make a 3-man flex play on Prize Picks, right? So you pick these 3 guys. You pick the Rui over. We like the Rui over. We like the Joe Harris over. And we like the Harden over. So you pick these 3 picks over here. Let's go over to this screen instead. You pick these 3 on the screen right here, right? If, let's just say, Rui Hachimura was to get ruled out later on tonight, you can't adjust it because you can't adjust it. Your bet's already in. But they would basically just X Rui Hachimura out, and your bet would go through with these 2, right? Your contest would go through with those 2. So hopefully that helps you out, good sir. Sal, thank you for the Moses Brown play last night. I loved it. Top 3 plays tonight. Moses Brown 50 burger last night, man. The optimizer was spitting him out 90% of the time. At one point, it was like 97%. I got 90% Moses Brown last night. Obviously makes you nervous whenever you have not a stud or a full-on proven player at that high ownership, but it worked out for us. My top 3 rated plays tonight, based on point per dollar, not factoring in ownership yet. Obviously, that has to be factored in, though. Tomas Satoransky, James Harden, and Sterling Brown are my top 3 rated overall plays tonight. That being said, I obviously like James Harden a lot. I really like Kevin Porter Jr. a lot. After that, there's just a lot of guys who look good, right? Depending on what you're filling your lineup out with. Giannis is going to be lower owned, so I want to be getting to 2 studs. We have enough value in that 4, 3, some 3K range, 4 and 5K range, I think, to get to 2 studs today. You probably have to punt with one of your spots. The fake glasses swag, so they're not fake glasses, like they're not prescription, but the reason I wear them is like they're those blue light glasses. The blue light glasses. So I know some people might think they're bullshit, but I will really get eye strain if I don't wear these. And like at this point in the day, because I've already done a live stream for golf. I did the video this morning. I did a call for like 45 minutes with a company that does ownership and some other stuff. So yeah, and not even factoring in that the time it takes me to make projections and the time that it's taking me to kind of work on this background website that I'm working on and all that shit. Basically looking at a fucking computer screen for X amount of hours today. It helps me with my eye strain, and I really do truly believe that it helps me sleep. So some people might think that they're BS, but I have found them to work for me. And even if it's placebo, I'll take that placebo pill. But yes, they are fake. They're not prescription, but there's a reason for them. They're blue light. I wouldn't be wearing them on the screen if I didn't feel like my eyes were strained right now. Like I'm not wearing them for style right now, although your boy fucking pulls them off, right? Your boy fucking pulls these bad boys off. Also, can you do this? Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? That should get me on his podcast if he's got one. Somebody said Harden's already at 62 points. Harden's already at 62. We love that. What website is that, says Charlie? Charlie, this is Prize Picks. It is a player prop site, over-unders on player props, including their fantasy scoring points. I, so far, have only dabbled in the fantasy scoring points because I could use my projections. So if you have any questions on it, let me know. There's a link in the description. If you use the code SAL, just my name, SAL, they will give you a free money bonus up to $100. So if you just want to try it out and put 20 bucks in, bam, they'll give you 20 as well as a bonus for being like, oh, you know Sal? Oh, he sent you? Yeah, we'll give you that 20. Now you got 40 in your account. Other than Holmes, who is going to get the power forward / center minutes for Sacramento? Well, right now, Whiteside is still questionable, right? So I'm currently projecting Whiteside in just so I don't have to make that decision yet. But I assume that Bielitsa will get some decent run. They might dust some guys off the bench. Somebody mentioned Jabari Parker earlier. But my assumption would be that you see some decent run for Bielitsa at the 4. Harrison Barnes will slide down and play some 4. A lot of minutes at the 5. A lot of minutes at the 5 at that point for one Rashawn Holmes. No. Somebody says, what you on, my man? I ain't on anything. So a lot of people think that I just like take Adderall at like 5 in the morning when I record my morning videos. I mean, a couple things. One, I like what I'm doing, right? So I have energy just naturally doing this. I get to wake up and have some fun. 2, I typically have a cup of coffee in me. But honestly, coffee really doesn't. I didn't take coffee. I didn't start doing hardcore coffee until I was 22. So like I really never liked coffee. I just like the hot. I like the taste of coffee, one, and then I just like that hot feeling in the morning. So if tea tasted better, and I like tea, but not to the same extent as coffee. And then number 3, I realized that I got to have some energy, right? If I'm just on the screen reading off, yes, James Harden is a good play today. He grades out for 69 points. You guys should play James Harden, right? Like if somebody just turned into the stream right there, they shut it off right away and said, I'm never watching that guy again. So I just lost one potential person that I can make a relationship with in the future. Potentially could become my wife. Probably not, given the fact that I have 99.9% male audience. Shout out to the females out there, though. Anytime 69 is a projection, you always just got to go over. Love that. Best shooting guard, 5.3K and under. I'm pulling up DraftKings specific positionality right now to give you my exact answer to your question. 24. Oh, that's why he didn't recognize the Goodfellas reference. Yeah, no. So, no, I mentioned it yesterday. I watched Goodfellas when I was like 10 and 12 with my dad. I mean, my dad and my uncles, they love that movie. So I'm like 10 and 12. I'm just sitting there on like the weekend, just, trying to have some father-son time. And my dad's watching Goodfellas. So I've seen these movies and bits and pieces of The Godfather and stuff. But yeah, it's a shame that I haven't watched them straight all the way through. But you're right. I'm going to do, for a man who has merch that says fellas on it, I'm going to do everybody a favor, including myself, really just me. and I'm going to get this shit situated. Also, for the person who also asked about Sacramento's other minutes, if indeed and Sacramento is going to play the early game today, which is not usually the case, if indeed you do see Hassan Whiteside out, they don't have Mitu. Like, Mitu's also out today, so Rashawn Holmes is going to get loaded with minutes, right? Bielitsa is just going to have to be forced into more minutes at center as well. I assume that Jabari Parker will get dusted off. So for whoever asked earlier on if we think we see Jabari Parker, yeah, we saw him play a good amount of minutes in that last game, right? Against Charlotte. So if Whiteside is out, I do assume that we do see Jabari Parker get dusted off. Best shooting guard, $5,300 and under today. All right, so let me look at the shooting guard options just in general today. For you, my friend. So $5,300 and under today. So $5,300 and under. Wow, Bruce Brown stands out. Let's see if he's the best. Sterling Brown. So my answer would be Sterling Brown. He'll have ownership. So Sterling Brown 1, Bruce Brown number 2 for shooting guards under $5,600. And then it becomes pretty quickly a brutal position for you. Really quickly a brutal position for you. Sorry, I'm late. Dalaruski says Unicorn Love. Unicorn Love, how you doing, my man? How you doing, my man? Tonight is James Harden night. We go for 70-plus points for James Harden, or we bust. D. White, good cheap guys on the Spurs? Yes. Derek White just misses that below 5,300 that the question was asked. He's a shooting guard, but he's 5,400. But yes, I do like Derek White on the Spurs. A lot of these Spurs are going to get slept on tonight in a major way. A lot of these Spurs are going to get slept on tonight. You're going to see really not that much ownership. Like DeJounte Murray will pick up some ownership. Keldon Johnson, right? Derek White, going to get slept on tonight. Those guys have the ability to score 35 to 40. Heck, we just saw recently 40-plus from Derek White. Somebody says, how much is Patreon, and is the optimizer phone mobile friendly, basically? Patreon depends on the tier that you want. The all sports package starts at $25. The priority tiers are $35, and the all-inclusive for everything that's included, all the different sports, is $50. If you just want the NBA, but you want the optimizer as well, that will go for $35. All the tools, projections, ranks updated up and throughout lock, and the optimizer. And yes, it is mobile friendly. We also added today to the optimizers. I should actually probably announce this on stream. So for people that did not already see, we added to the optimizer today, I believe, let's see, randomness. So right here, if you zoom in, so we've always had general randomness, right? When you're doing a build, you could put a certain amount of randomness on. Now you can do randomness per player. So right here in this column, so for higher projected guys, you normally want to have a lower randomness, because if you put the same 50%, 20% randomness on James Harden, they're going to start to take into account situations where Harden scores 100 and make it seem like that's like not likely outcome, but more likely than it should be, right? So you can now individually put randomness in. You can update that as well when you upgrade your own data or upload your own data. We always have had randomness, but we're trying to take into account as much as possible. We've always had randomness, like right here, right? So that's general. That'll put it on every single player. Now you can adjust that per player, which is just a massive, massive and powerful tool. So let's look at this lineup that we ended up getting out. The second highest projected lineup, Halliburton, right? Harden. I really like some of these Golden State guys, not really like, but like Kelly Oubre's and Wiggins today. Their price points for their matchup today, yeah, I'm not shocked if one of them scores 35 to 38 points. We like Holmes today, Jason Tate, of course, just with all those guys out, Satoransky, KJ Martin, and Kevin Porter. So we're getting 3 Houston guys, which is about the max that I would want to go to, maybe even max 2. So not bad lineups. Derek White, somebody mentioned him. Here's Derek White. I'm telling you, once you start putting randomness on and you can see the situations where Derek White scores 35 and 40 points, he's going to get into lineups as a low-owned option. This one's punting with JaVale McGee. I don't really like that. And Keldon Johnson in the same lineup with Derek White. But this one's a pretty solid lineup. It's only a 1-stud lineup. This one is a 2-stud lineup, which I do like with Giannis, but it's punting with Claxton, which isn't great. Bielitsa becomes a really strong play if and when Hassan Whiteside gets ruled out, by the way. Sal, does Kemba being out make any Celtics close to locks? None of them close to locks. Kemba being out is going to be making, and we'll move back to this screen. Kemba being out is going to be making Marcus Smart become a player in a player pool for me. It gives me a little bit more interest in Jason Tatum. Mainly just makes me, I was already interested in Jaylen Brown. Now it makes me even more interested. But none of them are locks. Daniel Tice has always been a good play with or without Kemba today. Who's your prize pick for tonight? Did you finish that? Yeah, Chase. So we finished that. Hopefully you were here when we showed it. But I think that there's some solid prize pick options. I do like the over on Rui, 23. I do like the over on Joe Harris, 23. And I do like the over on James Harden, 62. And then obviously if you just look at my projections, like I lean the over on DeLon Wright as well. I have him in the 30s. He's at 29. If you want to look at my projections, you can see where else we lean on some of these overs for some of these guys tonight. Decent amount of other spots to take advantage of. We already took advantage of Sexton, 31 this morning. Not going to get him at 32.5 right now. I don't want to double tap that one. Blue light glasses are a real deal. Staring at screens 8+ hours, 120% true. Thank you. You do look like a poser wearing them, somebody said. I look like a poser wearing these? Yeah, man. I know. It's honestly for the health reasons. I would be like getting a headache right after this if I didn't wear them, which would be just brutal. Blue light glasses, what do? They basically block blue light from getting... Blue light puts strain on your eyes. I don't know the scientific shit on it, but basically they put less strain on your eyes when you're looking at screens. I have 5... So like what people don't know is I have 5 lights glaring on me right now. I've got 2 studio lights in the corner. I've got 2 desk lights shining on me with toner, and I've got a ring light right in front of me. So all day long, I'm looking at these, and on top of 3 screens on right now, my eyes are going to be falling out of my head, so they help a little bit. Rachel Maddow, I don't know who that is. Need a cheap center filler. Who looks better, JaVale McGee or Eubanks? JaVale McGee, but I'll take Nicholas Claxton over all of them. Hey, Sal, small field 50-50. Better than a larger field? Yeah. Oh, for 50-50s? I think larger fields are better for 50-50s. That's the only time I'll ever say that. GBP is smaller field. Larger fields are better for 50-50s. You just get snubbed out a lot less. Can you please explain the randomness on the big energy optimizer? Yeah, it's just range of outcomes. So randomness, so whether you're doing the general randomness, so you're doing a build, right? Or you're doing so if you're doing the general randomness, it's range of outcomes. I'll make a new video for this on Patreon. It's range of outcomes. So the higher you put randomness, the more the range of outcomes it's going to take into account for a player's ceiling, a player's floor. It's going to take a distribution from the mean the higher you go up in that. So it's kind of what it says, right? It's just trying to take into account randomness. If I have a guy projected for 69 points like James Harden tonight, rarely is he going to land exactly on 69. So what this is doing is taking into account when he scores 75, when he scores 64, right? It's taking that into account and making combinations of lineups with that for every player if you put general randomness on. But now we've added the feature in the players tab. So this is the big energy optimizer. Find it on Patreon, linked right now in the chat. But now you can start to take into account on the players tab. And if you wanted to, you can adjust your own randomness right here. Which is going to be better for you to see on this screen. There you go. You can adjust your own randomness right here in this column. Here's my projections. You could always adjust those if you ever need to. Their average fantasy points and then ownership. Whenever the fuck we get that added. I feel like I've been a Patreon since the start of it. How do I see how long? I've been subbed to you on Patreon. Well, Mr. Aiden, I can tell you on my end, I have it's called the relationship manager where I can see if I need to refund anybody. I can see how long you've been a patron. So if you really want to know, I can let you know. I believe your name in the chat is, I've seen the name before. I believe you're probably the same name if I looked at it. All you need is cat to match the fit. That is a cat. Richardson thoughts, no interest tonight. We see the ring light in your glasses, somebody says. Yeah, that's usually the issue. You can see the ring light in the glasses. Like, that's the only reason I probably don't wear these more is because the reflection, I don't like how it reflects off, but what are you going to do? Rachel Maddow is a far left weirdo on MSNBC. She wears those same glasses. That's what you think I am. Thoughts on Stewart's today? I have him for 21 minutes. Not really there on him, to be honest. Let's see. I'll give you the exact minutes. Give you just, a little bit more in-depth analysis for yourself. 20 minutes today at around 0.9 fantasy points per minute. Not going to be doing it personally for me. So let's go. Relationship manager. We'll look up how long. JB, you're a fool. Somebody said. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't watch any news. So, and that's one, because I don't have cable, but 2, because I don't personally want to be doing that. Well, let's see. Aiden has been a patron since October of 2019. So yeah, I think I literally started my Patreon around them. Aiden, if you're going to be a patron all the time, like legitimately, not just for me trying to make a year-long sale on your account, but if you plan to continue to be a patron, you might as well get the annual membership, because you get you've been a patron for a year and a half. So when you do the annual membership, you get 2 months free. So you lock in for a year, but you only pay for 10 months, right? But obviously that's an upfront cost, so I understand it's not like that simple. But yeah, you've been a Patreon since October of 2019, which is when I started this. I started this with the NBA season, not last year, but the year before. So yeah, you've been it literally since the beginning. That's pretty cool. He's got the eyeballs going. Saturansky too cheap on FanDuel. He's also too cheap on DraftKings today. The problem is there's so many great point guard eligible guys, including Harden, that it's harder to get to Sato in like a one lineup. Sal, the project point guard, 5X on 15 on DK last night. Let's go. Nice job. Ian, way to go. Good shit, Aiden, somebody says. An OG. Is Hardaway, Harris, and both Browns the same plays tonight? What do you mean the same plays tonight? Hardaway definitely not in that same level of play tonight. Harris, Joe Harris, both Browns. I'll take Bruce Brown. I'll take Sterling Brown, Bruce Brown, Harris, and Hardaway in that order, if that's what you're asking. How do you feel about the chances of Teague starting? Even if he does, he's not going to be really that much of an interest to me, to be honest with you. But with Marcus Smart back now, I think the chances are pretty slim. Thoughts on plugging in Zubac and hoping Ibaka is out, then people can't swap around because it's a later game. I think that's okay. And as always, you can probably find a decent way to get off of Zubac if you need to, right? But at least you're ready for that. I think that's a fine. That's obviously you taking into account some risk if you can't swap off. But if you have any other swap in mind, then yeah, you should be fine. Put him in your utility spot, though, so you can obviously get other positions in there. Thoughts on Hardaway today? Yeah, the minutes on Hardaway, I'm giving him more minutes. I put him at, I believe, 29 minutes, or did he get to 30? I gave Hardaway 30 minutes flat. It does make him look a little bit more appealing, but with so much other value, it's not something I really like. Sabonis or Tatum? Factoring in price, I'll go with Tatum today. But let me give you the exact projection I have on Hardaway. I have Hardaway for 24.3 points. So he's in a player pool for me, but I prefer those others. Is Ibaka out? No official ruling as of the last time I checked, which was like 3 or 4 minutes ago. Any love for Levine at 8.8? Yes. Did you see the Bronx Tale? No. Need Siakam news. Fred VanVleet as well. Yeah, Fred VanVleet leaning towards playing. Siakam leaning towards playing or not, or going from doubtful towards to playing. No news, though. Sterling Brown or Harris? I'll take Sterling Brown over Joe Harris. Uber Mate or Coffee? I don't know what that is. David Moore, what is that? Any thoughts about Ellison from Toronto? No interest at all. No interest at all in Ellison. I mean, I'm projecting in right now, so I'm projecting in Siakam and Fred VanVleet, so this will change. But Henry Ellison, I think, with those guys projected in, obviously, you probably know as well, is a no at 4 fantasy points. If they're out, something's changed, but still probably not getting there. What about Podol against Chicago? Yeah, Unicorn. Not a lot of people are going to be playing Jakob Podol today because there's some cheaper centers. There's Jokic all the way up top, and I do like Jakob Podol. He's a yes for me. A lot, as you can see right here, a lot of San Antonio is a yes for me today. How much Podol did? So this was just a random 150 crunch right here. This was a 20 max crunch. In this 20 max crunch, we did not get much Jakob Podol, sadly. Did we get any? Which just shows you, like when he's not coming up in optimizers, it makes him an even better single entry run. Let's build 150 lineups now in the background, and we'll see what some of those top projections look like. Let's increase the randomness to 27%. We'll just put general randomness on now. Giannis or Sabonis? Giannis. Hey, Sal. Can my grandma borrow your glasses, somebody says. Yeah, they were like $7 on Amazon. They're for blue light. Nets versus Pacers. What's your pick? Kyrie being out. I'll take the Pacers. My Broncos are going to get Deshaun Watson. Watch. Best of luck. Sorry if this was already asked, but who benefits most with Kemba out today? Marcus Smart, minutes-wise, will pick up a lot more. And then those studs in Tatum and Jaylen Brown's point per minute production becomes more solid. But Marcus Smart, and then they just have so many guards, right? Boston has so many guards from Carson Edwards, Tremont Waters, Jeff Teague, Peyton Pritchard, that they're all just going to split time. So the actual fantasy benefit is those 2 studs in Tatum and Brown, and then Marcus Smart. Your favorite Warriors tonight? Good question. The Warriors, a lot of them look appealing tonight, and it's not really the pay-up ones in terms of like Draymond kind of pay-up and then Steph. So my favorite Warriors in this order tonight will be Kelly Oubre, Wiggins, and Wiseman in that order, but all 3 of them look good. Thoughts on Haliburton? I think he's fantastic. I think he's going to pick up a lot of ownership, which is a concern, but he's massively underpriced. So I think Haliburton is fantastic. He's going to be one of the highest on guys. He's 5,500 with his minutes back now. He should be 6,000 to 6,500. Millsap back, make Jokic not a smash play. Nope. Millsap will play 20 minutes. He's nowhere near the same rebounder, and he doesn't take anything away from assists or shot attempts from Jokic. Keldon Johnson or Rudy Gay? Keldon Johnson. Bob Kraft or Deshaun Watson and massage parlor. Uh-oh. Holmes with Bagley out. He's in a player pool for me. He's a yes right now. Tice get run again? I think so, as long as he starts. Is 3 too many from Sacramento? There's a lot of guys from Sacramento that are appealing to me. You can see my interest right here for Sacramento. Look at all, so a lot from San Antonio, but look at all from Sacramento. I have a yes on Holmes, a yes on Haliburton, interest in Fox and Barnes and Buddy Hield and Bielitsa. I will say right now, 3 from Sacramento on this 10-game slate is too many for me. If Bielitsa opens up, I'll say that it's not, because I can easily see somebody playing Haliburton, Bielitsa, and pick one of the other guys if they just fit in. So am I crazy for putting Luke Kennard in a couple lineups tonight? Yes, I have him projected for 10 minutes. No interest. Your favorite Detroit Pistons tonight? I don't think really anything standing out from Detroit. DeLon Wright. So DeLon Wright, yeah. DeLon Wright's my favorite by a good amount. He's still underpriced. DeLon Wright's going to be $6,400 pretty soon because he's going to consistently be playing 34, 35 minutes and consistently dropping 34, 35 fantasy points. Kawhi or PG is the cheapest I've seen in a while. Also just put 50 up on Dallas. That way too out there? No, both of them are in play. Both of them are in play. I continue to like PG. He continues to not come through, but he's playing the minutes. He's getting the shot attempts. He's just not doing anything with his peripherals. Maybe he has a bad shooting game here or there. I think both of those guys are in play, though. I prefer PG if I'm picking one. I don't think it's too far out there at all. PG at 7,900 can easily score 45, 48 fantasy points. Charlotte is close to home for him. No doubt he'd improve. Eubanks for the win? No. DeJounte, Nance, and KJ Martin or Derek White, Porter, and Oubre. DeJounte, Nance, and KJ Martin or Derek White, Porter, and Oubre. I'll take Derek. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll take Derek White, Porter, and Oubre. I just like Oubre's security in minutes over KJ Martin's right now. But I don't really know if you can go wrong either way there. How you doing? Alrighty. So, what time we got right now? Mine for about 45 minutes. I always forget how long. 50 minutes. Cool. A second pay-up option to pair with Harden. I'll go Giannis if I had to pick one. You prefer Giannis over Jokic? Right now I do. Yeah. Right now I do. What do we got? Do you still love Nance or did Brown move above him? Which Brown? Jaylen Brown? Sterling Brown? Bruce Brown? Which one? I assume you mean Sterling Brown. Sterling Brown point per dollar wise did move above Nance, but I still do like Nance. Yeah, Nance is still a top 10 play for me. Sterling Brown is just a top 3 play for me. But keep in mind, Sterling Brown will have much higher ownership. So yeah, Nance still a top 10 play. He's still a part of the Dollarooski dozen from this morning. Larry Nance probably ends up coming in with a half the ownership of Sterling Brown. So I'll take Larry Nance for $100 more and half the ownership over Sterling Brown. Yes. If you're looking for any way to get different in your lineup. If you don't need to get different, you already got different somewhere else. You already got like a low owns any other stud not named Giannis or Harden today. If you went ahead and you played yourself some Russ or some Beal today, which I don't know how low owned those guys will actually end up coming in. I assume Russ will pick up some ownership. Those guys actually probably be higher owned than Giannis. But if you end up just playing any decently low owned player today, then go Sterling Brown. But Nance for half the ownership and not that far off from the point projection, yeah. Seems about right. So bonus over Bam, yes. Any Isaiah Stewart for a cheap center for you tonight? No, not right now. So let's look at some of these other lineups that ended up just getting crunched out here. So this one's pretty interesting. This is a very nice looking lineup, I'm not going to lie. This might be more of a cash lineup depending on what Jaylen Brown is projecting out as. Jaylen Brown is projecting out for ownership. Tomas definitely is. Kelly Oubre is not really picking up all that much ownership, so that could be your difference maker. This is an interesting lineup. Kelly Oubre will be your guy to maybe get you different. But this is with 27% randomness. You got Harden, you got Brown, going to be highly owned. Jaylen Brown will be average owned, right? I do think that you probably still see Daniel Tice pick up ownership. Podol not picking up that much ownership right now, right? So this is an interesting one. So Jakob Podol and Kelly Oubre make you different with this lineup. All these other guys will have ownership, but that's just the name of the game in small field NBA. Yeah, I'm going to save this lineup. You probably won't be in the same small field contest as me. But this is an interesting one. I don't really want JaVale McGee, so not this one. But this one's good. This one's got upside. It's obviously just a one stud lineup, but you still get some upside players in Kevin Porter, of course, Jaylen Brown. Not bad. Kind of like that. Thanks, boss man. No problem, man. Somebody says, you the GOAT. No, you the GOAT. Anybody playing the prize picks tonight? I want to find once we start to get some more news, I'll kind of finalize those. He's asking about Sterling. Yeah, so that'll be my analysis. Best small forward play today. The best small forward play on the entire slate today? That's a pretty wide range. Is there a specific salary range that you got on that one? Or just best on the entire slate? Jaylen Brown now stands out as some lower owned options. The Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins stand out, but you're probably more times than not going to fall in the lower range. The reason why I like Nance a lot is because he's small forward eligible. So Nance is a top 10 play for me. You have Sterling Brown, right? So it's kind of the same conversation of Sterling Brown versus Nance. Nance, half the ownership. It kind of gets lean there for me with not a far difference in price or projection. But Larry Nance is a power forward who's going to play some center minutes, and you get to put him in your small forward spot. It's rare that you get to do that, especially with a high-producing rebounding one. I was curious about your thoughts on Draymond on Superdraft. Against that awful Houston team and his multiplier, I feel like he could be a sneaky GBP. I see him higher on him than you are, so I defer to you. Yeah, on Superdraft, not a lot of those. So Draymond right now, did he even make a player pool? I think he might. So he didn't make a player pool, no. The 1.4x multiplier, it's just It's just for what Draymond's doing right now. Draymond ranks out as my 40th overall Superdraft play. It's just kind of right outside my player pool for Superdraft. Porter Jr. will bust tonight. Uh-oh. Somebody says postponed. What got postponed? Would be elite to jump above Tice if Whiteside sits. If he was to start, yes. If he was to start, yes, at that cheaper price point, and in my opinion, a higher ceiling. So Torian Prince officially ruled out. Kevin Love officially ruled out. We already had that already happening, so there we go. Nance is underrated. If he gets the minutes, he produces all the time. All the time he does, dating back to 2-3 years ago, right? Claxton or Bielitsa? I'll go with Bielitsa. Metcalf or Lockett? Metcalf. But I'd sell both in Dynasty. How do you feel fitting Harden and Giannis in the same lineup and still have a good lineup? Yeah, I think you can. Love is also out. Yep. Thoughts on PG? 7,900 seems too cheap. I agree, it seems too cheap. Nobody's going to really want to go to him because he's burned them the last 2 times I've tried to play him. Cool. Do you like Will Barton? Yeah, I still like him, but he's just moved so far down the interest list now because so many of these other guys have started to open up. All of Houston opened up, and they're like all in that price range, right? So nowhere near as much do I like Will Barton now. Sadly, nowhere near as much do I like him. Big sad. Let's move that up a little bit. Thoughts on Rui? I like him on Prize Picks. So we took Rui's over 23 fantasy points, which was right here. So we took the over on 23 fantasy points on Rui on Prize Picks. I've got him for about 26 points tonight. It's not going to get him there on DraftKings or SuperDraft for me, though. LeVert revenge game. I kind of want to, like all those guys between Sabonis and Brogdon and LeVert, they all seem underpriced, but that's with our previous conceptions without LeVert in this lineup and with like Justin Holiday in the lineup or Aaron Holiday ahead of him, right? So we kind of have to see that these prices dropping are justified. So I'm trying to temper my expectations on those guys with their prices dropping, including LeVert being cheap, right, in the 6K range. But there's 3 high-producing players now in that offense. I think they'll kind of continue to cannibalize each other. Fading Harden and holding my nose. Liking Sabonis and LeVert on the other side. There you go, Adam. What's going on, Adam? How you doing? Who's your top play in the 9K range tonight? I believe it's Bradley Beal. My top 9K range play, there's not a lot. There's not a lot to choose from in that range anyways. Bradley Beal would be my 29th overall play today, and he is my number 1 play in the 9K range. After that, it would be De'Aaron Fox. No, Adam, don't take LeVert unless it's on FanDuel. There you go. Holmes thoughts tonight. Holmes is one of my 2 yeses from Sacramento. Holmes is my number 36 overall play tonight. He's not a strong yes for me. If Hassan Whiteside gets ruled out, Holmes becomes a better play for me. More minute security overall. Minute security and minutes upside, right? Instead of playing 32 minutes, or what do I have Holmes projected for? I have Holmes projected for, instead of having Holmes projected for 30 minutes, right? He starts to get 32, 33, 34, and that clearly starts to put him at a very nice projection today. If House and Macklemore play, would that put Sterling Brown out of play? No. I'm currently projecting in House and Macklemore, and Sterling Brown's my number 3 play. So imagine if those guys miss. So I'm currently giving House and Macklemore minutes, and Sterling Brown is still a top 3 point per dollar play for me, top 3 of my ratings. So I currently have Sterling Brown for 34 minutes, right? I mean, he's taking over for guard minutes with Noah Oladipo and Wall, right? But I have given House 30 minutes already today, and I've given Macklemore 18. So if those guys miss, there's 48 more minutes to go around. It only gets better. Top 3 SuperDraft plays today. So based on just pure projection on SuperDraft, I'll give you pure projection plus guys who are yeses in my player pool. DeJounte Murray, Kevin Porter, and Colin Sexton. Bielitsa a lock if Whiteside is out, or does that just guarantee Holmes has to be in your lineup? Definitely doesn't guarantee Holmes has to be in your lineup because he's still not cheap. He's 6,700. So even if he goes out there and scores 35, it's not like he's not burning the world for you and winning you a GPP. But if Bielitsa starts, which I would expect, unless they go with like Daquan Jeffries at the 3 and Harrison Barnes at the 4, which they can do. But if Bielitsa starts, yeah. Fox or Levine, if I already have Holmes, Levine. If you guys want to get any interest in the big energy optimizer, we now have randomness, not only general randomness, but randomness per position. So you can be sure to check it out. This lineup right here, I'm sure somebody's already stolen it, but I won't play it in the same contest as you if I indeed play it, but I expect some more news to come out. But yeah, the big energy optimizer is a ton of fun. You can put in player groups if you ever have to do position or team stacks for whatever reason. You can. Probably more so only on smaller slates. But yeah, you can check it out. I'll put the link in the description so you can sign up if you'd like to for Patreon, projections, ranks, a bunch of tools, if you will. I can kind of show you what those tools look like real quickly. We won't give away too much, but this is what those tools would look like. Part of the tools, not only these, but the optimizer for the NBA. I'll zoom in on this so we don't show everything, but yeah, this is what it would be. Well, this looks terrible when I zoom it in that far. So this is kind of what gets updated once the news comes out. You can see right here, it's the player pools for DraftKings, my yeses. You can filter that so you can see my entire player pool. I won't do that right now. You can see the Super Draft projections is filtered by Super Draft interest in player pools. Yes, no, maybes. And then the projections and my overall top rated plays, if you filter by that number right there. So that's also what's included in Patreon. And I don't know what just happened there. They go. I was going to say, I don't know what just happened to the projections, but there they are. Everything's slowing down now. We have a question about Wood. Let me get to this question real quickly. Do you like Zubac or Robert Williams? If no Surge, easily Zubac. If Surge is in, neither. But I guess if you had to pick one, Robert Williams. Thanks, Al. No problem. Is there anyone in the 7K range that you rank higher than most or all of the 8K range? Is there anybody in the 7K range that I rank higher than most or all of the 8K range? Let me look into this for you. So, I'm trying to filter my projections, and they're fussing right now. So let's do this first. Okay, there we go. Anybody in the 7K range that I rank higher than most or all of the 8K range? Yeah, DeJounte Murray at 7,500. I rank higher than all of the 8K range. Not in pure projection, but in point per dollar. Yeah, DeJounte Murray. Does Wood looking like he's going to play hurt Porter or Brown's usage? Also, if you can afford Tate, would you play him over Brown? I would play Tate over Brown if I could afford him. Maybe some other better options for you. Does Wood playing hurt those guys' usage? Yeah, because he's a better play than whoever the hell they were going to put in place. More Ben McLemore minutes, more Justin Patton minutes. So, yeah, he'll hurt their usage. Yep, that's already accounted for, though. Satoransky? Yeah, Satoransky's my number one overall play today. And the problem with that is I probably still don't get to a lot of him in single entry. And I'm only playing one single entry lineup into a lot of contests because James Harden is point guard eligible. Kevin Porter is the only point guard eligible player. And then I can't play another guard, right? Unless I want to play all three and put one in my utility. So Satoransky is my number one overall point per dollar play right now. Halliburton or Hield? Sorry if I missed that already. Halliburton by a wide margin for me. Halliburton is grading out as one of my best plays today. He's my number 2 overall play. Wiseman and Pascal out. Oh, we're getting some news. Wiseman and Pascal are out today is what we were just told. I'm going to update that momentarily. DeJounte Murray must be a lock in at least a couple lineups then. Thanks, Al. There you go, my man. No problem, David. So Eric Pascal is ruled out for health protocols, and so is James Wiseman. So we're starting to get some of our first news tonight. I don't think there'll be any way we can take advantage of that on Prize Picks, but we can at least take a gander. So Draymond's in here at 36 points. That will actually change Draymond a little bit. I would have actually leaned the under on Draymond before this news. You might want to lean the over now. I like the over on Kelly Oubre now. I already had him at 33 points. Wiseman being out can only help that, including Eric Pascal out, who can play 18 productive minutes off the bench. So if anything, it makes those guys lean to an over. But the problem for Draymond is Kevon Looney is still on that team, so he could still take some center minutes, but Draymond will clearly get more center minutes now. So we'll update that momentarily. Nance, Markkanen, and Zubac, or Keldon, Daniel Tice, and Jakob Poeltl today. So do I want Nance, Markkanen, and Zubac, or Keldon, Daniel Tice, and Jakob Poeltl? So here you go. If Serge Ibaka is out the first one, if he's not out, the second one. Is Green a good play since Wiseman and Pascal is out? Yes, he becomes a better play. Yes. Draytons. Instead of Draymond, Draytons. What do you think about Seth Curry or Steph Curry? Which one? Neither of them am I really all that interested in today. Steph will be a lower-owned stud if you wanted to get there and hope that he has his 30-shot attempt game where he goes for 70 fantasy points, right? Tate or Tice today? I'll take Daniel Tice if I had to pick one right now. Alrighty, gang. I think I'm going to bounce. We'll update the projections for that news that we just got. We still have an hour and a half until lock, so we can obviously update any more if we need to. But thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. Hit the like, subscribe before you go. So Green or Holmes today? If I had to pick one right now, I would go with Draymond. Halliburton, DeLon Wright, Tate, or Giannis, Tomask, and Jeff Green, or anyone at $4,200 Kleber or whoever. I will take Giannis, Tomask, and Jeff Green, and whoever else is at 42. Let me see if I can find anybody else that is appealing there. Daniel Tice. Can you fit Daniel Tice in that spot instead of Jeff Green? If not, Jeff Green is fine. So is Alex Len. Yeah. Tony Bradley if he starts again. Thanks for the free content, Sal. Hope you win tonight. I hope you win as well. Thank you. Powell or Tatum? Tatum. Tice or Zubac? Zubac if there's no Serge Ibaka. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out the sponsor of the show. The link is in the description below. Use that code SAL on Prize Picks, and you will get a free money bonus up to $100 Rooskies. And then finally, if you want to check out Patreon, there's a final link going into the chat. That's where that optimizer is. Go get GG. Thank you. No problem. Cool. So that's where the optimizer is that you can find, and some of the tools as well. This lineup looks very nice right now. Randomness is added, all that type of stuff. Here's Prize Picks. Cool. Prize Picks, we're doing right now the over on Harden, the over on Harris, and we're looking at the over on Rui, but I might look into these lines right now on Draymond once I finalize my projections. 36 seems kind of high, though, for an over under still. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. You all rock. Enjoy. And now I am out.